What ways are you your biggest enemy?
A lot. What ways? So there can be multiple? Well, physically, when I get anxious, I think that my chest closes in, so it literally makes it hard to breathe sometimes. That is hard. When I think that people are judging me, that definitely triggers my anxiety because it's something I feel like everyone worried about in high school, but it definitely bothered me a lot. Yeah, when I feel like people think that I'm doing something wrong or I look goofy, even though I think looking goofy is goofy, so that's cool. Along with that, I'm my worst enemy in the sense that sometimes I try to please others before I please myself. I try to think, oh, if mom and dad are proud of me because I do that, it doesn't really matter like what I think about it, but it's not the way I think anymore. So I think in some ways I'm my worst enemy when I try to please others before I please myself.
Just like minor things that I do to prevent me from, you can walk I think, but to prevent me from like getting things done and accomplishing minor goals. Like if I set a goal for myself and I decide to like simply procrastinate or something, I'm just pushing myself back.
In a lot of ways, man, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, you know. For me, it's, you know, I'm a bigger dude, so, you know, I feel like I could do more to help my health, even though, you know, it's an unhealthy lifestyle. You kind of just still in that rut, so I guess everybody's their own worst enemy sometimes.
Some things that like I try new, like when I try something new, like I kind of doubt myself. Like when like I first started to get a hang of it and I always messed up. That's the only time, basically, I can say like I'm learning something new and like I don't get it right then and there. It's not a struggle, it's just like I just don't get it. And yeah.
We all have a nature that works against the good, and I think we are all our own worst enemy.
Time managing, I think, sometimes. Or, I don't know. Learning, like, just about, like, reading things and, like, learning new things and stuff. I don't know. I feel like driven in a lot of different directions sometimes, where I have a ton of interests, a lot of things I want to do. You know, the list just gets so big, and then, you know, you just got this like huge list of things you want to do or things you're interested in and little time to do it. So like that is like, I guess, a source of, you know, anxiety in a different way to describe it, I guess. Just want to do a lot, but I don't know. Wish I had more time too, kind of thing.
Definitely my level of self-confidence. Like at this point in time, I'm applying to college, so obviously I have to sort of think about what kind of profile I want to deliver, and obviously I want it to be authentic, but I have to sort of trust that I've done all the work leading up to this point, which I definitely have. And sometimes it's easy to compare yourself to others, but what I'm working on is doing less of that, just to ensure, like, just so I see or, you know, understand that I don't need to conform to a particular sort of profile or anything to like be admitted to college. Like at the end of the day, authenticity is what helps you succeed. So yeah.
Procrastination and like telling myself that like I can't do something when I definitely can do something and just holding myself back. That's how having anxiety works.
So many ways. I think I'm simultaneously afraid of commitment and also change. And that can really like impact me in very negative ways because I don't want to like take a chance and like do something different, but I also don't want to like close doors by staying in the same space. So it's always this like internal conflict constantly. Yeah, like currently I'm like pursuing a career that I'm not exactly sure that I want to pursue, but I'm afraid of like changing tacks and trying something different because I'm afraid that if I do that, then I won't be able to come back to this if this is what I decide I want to do. So, yeah.
I'd say self-doubt probably because there's a lot of potential and a lot of things I'm capable of doing, but just getting over the hurdle of being confident enough to do it is where I struggle the most. So, yeah.
In what ways am I my biggest enemy? Oh, Jesus Christ! God Almighty! It's just so I'm my biggest enemy on life. My biggest enemy is procrastination. You know, I'm always looking back and say I should have done that and I should have done this. But I want to let you know that someone divine is going to ask you, what'd you do with your life? What did you do with it? I gave you a wonderful life, and what did you do with it? Good or bad? You're going to have something to tell it. And I'd hate the way to say it. Well, I was sitting around and didn't do nothing. Well, I got a whole lot of money and I sit on my couch and watch TV all day. Or would you rather be out in the struggle and say, hey, you remember that time we were together and we got stuck up here in Asheville, North Carolina, didn't have no money, didn't have nothing to eat, you were there with me. And that brought me comfort. That is an amazing answer right there. Anything else?
I'm pretty hard on myself a lot. When I'm not super great at something new that I try, initially, I'm like, why am I not good at it? But then I practice and I get better. Sports stuff, nothing like I could just pull that specifically, I guess. But like activities. Rock climbing, okay, that's fair enough. Because, yeah, you think you can rock climb hard stuff at first, but no. You've got to build like the technique, the strength and everything. So yeah, it was just training after that to make sure I got a lot better at it. Yeah, get hard on myself at those moments, I guess.
Oh, he just put myself down, saying I can't do it. But I know with God's help I can grow more. It's like accept things that's changing that was looked down on in the earlier years, like the 70s and 80s.
I think definitely some ways I'm my biggest enemy would have to be just overthinking things. I think a lot of people get in their own ways, their own thoughts. So I think, let me restart on that. So what was your question again? Sorry. All right. So I think one way is I'm my biggest enemy. I think it's just kind of what everybody deals with, just kind of dealing with anxiety and not having to, God damn, I'm so sorry, man. All right, okay, so I think in some ways that, my biggest enemy is that, I'm not always willing to jump when my brain tells you to jump. I think a lot of times that gut reaction is kind of is the right reaction. A lot of times I think, when someone tells me to jump, I'm a little anxious to do it, and I think that holds me back from certain things and, things like that, I guess. No, actually the opposite. So I had a decision to either move out of Raleigh a couple years ago or stay in here, or kind of move back to my hometown, and I decided to stay out here, and I think that was a time when I was wanting to jump and leave, and I decided not to, and actually really helped me in the long run, helped me kind of grow out here, find my own friends out here, not go back to the people that I always knew and the comfortableness of it. So I think that's actually one of the times that not jumping was actually a good decision for me.
Yeah, sometimes you know what you should do, but on the other hand, you are hesitant to make changes, you are used to do the same things you used to do and so on. It's more comfortable to do the same, but even if you would know that it would be better to change things, like your job or so. For example, I'm on my job now for 25 years, same job for the same company. It would have made sense to change it more often, but yeah, I like to do the same things, but on the other hand, I know that maybe it would be better to do some changes more often.
I think my ego and my pride, those are things that make me my worst enemy, and I think those are things that a lot of people would agree upon because, nowadays with all this technology, you want to look good, you want to feel good, so pride is something that is held upon. So me getting into my pride and my ego is something that would make me my worst enemy.
Well, there's many ways I am my biggest enemy. I am without a doubt my biggest enemy. I would say I'm a little bit too much of an empath sometimes. I want to do more for other people than I do for myself or even my loved ones or immediate family at times. And that would be how and why I'm definitely my own worst enemy.
Imposter syndrome, like I was saying. It's hard to, I want to do creative things in the future, but it's really hard to feel like that's okay, you know? Like, it's hard to feel like I can do that, you know? Even if I am actually doing the things, it's like I'm not going to feel like I'm good enough at it. Yeah, in those moments, I could be my biggest enemy. But as long as I keep, you know, doing it, then I'm doing it, so.
I would agree with her. Just like thinking that I'm not good enough for stuff, or thinking that I don't deserve nice things such as like love and things like that. Just, you know, everybody's deserving of that kind of stuff, so.